Howdy, gang. I'm going to try to be philosophical about this, but I think this is somewhat indicative of all the things that are dragging down our society. What I'm talking about is I make videos mostly for my followers. I have an amazing group of people who, it's like a community. We all kind of come together and ask questions and grill me and I try to be as helpful as I can and whatnot, because I've been making music professionally for 32 years. That means I've been making records, I've been producing records, I've been writing songs for other people, I've been playing in groups, quite a few groups, I've been a studio player, etc., etc., etc. I've worked with some of the greatest musicians on the planet. I think I have something to offer, and I've also been mentored by God's grace by the amazing Bob Olson, who was one of the original engineers at Motown. Bob was the one who brought me to Nashville 22 years ago to work with the Motown Funk Brothers, because the movie Standing in the Shadows of Motown hadn't been released yet, and they thought they might be onto something that maybe it would kickstart their notoriety, which it did. And I was in the center of that, playing guitar, producing with them, and learning from Bob. So, with that said, I'm disturbed by the comments. Like, I didn't understand, when I make a video about how plugins were causing crashes, which they did, and it's happened before, and I know it's from bad code or incompatible code, and I know that Pro Tools is a pain in the butt because it's AAX format and not VST, etc., etc. So I make a video trying to help people as usual. And I had no idea it had blown up to over 2,000 viewers, and there were all these comments on it, because I guess YouTube wasn't sending me the comments. Most of the comments were really good and helpful, really helpful. Like, some of you, thank you for making suggestions that would mathematically make this easier next time, because, I was okay at math, but it wasn't my top subject. And also, just support. The comments of support were really helpful. And then the people who had been through it themselves as well, that was really cool. But I was shocked how many idiot comments, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I'm offending you, if you're an idiot, but there was some real idiot comments. And I just want to address one of them right now, and not singling anybody out, because there were a couple people that kind of chimed in on this. Yes, I own over 900 plugins, but you do realize, don't you, that you get hundreds of plugins with your DAW, right? Like Pro Tools has like 300 at least. I mean, Bitwig, I have Bitwig. I also have Ableton. They all come with hundreds and hundreds of plugins, like stock. So I'm counting those, right? Like, you're not counting those? Because if you're not counting those, I guess I have about 500 that I've bought. Okay, so let's backtrack a little bit. I've been making music professionally for 32 years. If I bought 20 plugins a year for 32 years, I would have like 600 or 700 plugins, right? They accumulate over the length of a professional career. Do I need all those? Well, no. Actually, Bob Olson and I, when this went down, and we've talked about this, he and I, before, because he and I have, we try to keep compatible catalogs, meaning anything that I use, he uses, and vice versa as far as plugins, so that we're compatible when we send stuff back and forth, because we work together a lot, fairly exclusively. And so I know for a fact that there's about 200 of those that we use every day, and that get used and are excellent and we rely on. I know for a fact, and here's another, no, don't turn the channel, because the person who said this needs to understand this. There is almost nobody I know in professional engineers who don't use at least a couple hundred plugins. They might be stock plugins, they might not be, but we all have a couple of hundred favorites that we use every day. So it's very easy to accumulate another 400 or 500 or less over the course of a 32-year career where all I do is production work. I do mixing, recording, mastering, and I've worked on many, many, many great records with chart-topping, Grammy-nominated artists, okay? What have you done? Because I looked up a couple of these trolls, and I'm sorry, they're idiot trolls, because I looked them up. They got like 2 followers, 1 video, and you're commenting on my work. You know what? There's something called All Music Guide. Look me up. Look up anybody that you think you're qualified to make a comment against, because we've been doing this a long time. I'd be willing to listen to your music, and I would keep an open mind listening to it, but you can't criticize somebody who's worked on some major, major stuff if you haven't yourself. And why you think you're better because you have less plugins, I'd be really surprised if some of the people commenting don't realize. Do you not realize that you have like a few hundred plugins automatically that come with your DAW? So anyway, that's my little beef of the day. It seems like I couldn't have bought 500 or 600 plugins over 32 years. Yeah, I have. And it's still fairly stupid. I'm not proud of it because I only use about 200, as does Bob, as does any great engineer I've ever met. When we all compare notes and touch base, we're all talking about the same ones. But I'm not proud I spent that money because I am only using 200 of them. And that's the stupidest part. And that's why I come on this channel, and anybody else watching this who's been with me for a while will tell you, I come on here to tell you not to waste your money, to not do what I've done, because I have wasted money. And if I'm only using 200 of the 900 plugins, and I've also said, by the way, I've also said you can also get by using just the stock plugins, that you don't need any of the fancy things. I've said that several times. So, for the record, but I've also come on here and said, don't buy this device, don't buy this pedal, don't buy this thing, don't buy that, and given reasons why, because I've actually used them. So I've got practical experience. So before you comment, spilling Cheetos all over your keyboard in mom's basement, come on, man, do better, do better. I'd be glad to help anybody, even someone like that. But we all have to do better and not just knee-jerk, because there's a lot of people out there. There's people out there who are better than me, and I hope to learn from them. But I won't learn from them making comments like that.